Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on Chess for Beginners episode. So this is episode 3 of the episode 3 of the series, guys. So let's get started. And so in this episode we will be talking about chess rules. And the chess rules I'm going to include in this video are stalemate, castling, when you can't castle, en passant, and insufficient material. Those are the 5 things I'm going to cover in this video. So let's get started. So basically, we'll start with en passant. So en passant is a rule in chess where first, let me show you an example, then I'll explain it to you. So this is how it's going to work. So e4, e5, so you're just having a normal game, right? So this is what's happening. So I'm going to play a4, he's going to play bishop e7, a5, and now he goes b5. b5, now, believe it or not, you can actually take here. Believe it or not, you can actually take here because it's just a rule. So how it works is that you can, if it's the pawns vary, so on white's perspective, if one of their pawns is on the 5th rank and the opponent's pawn's very first move goes 2 squares right next to the pawn, you can take no matter in which direction, even if it's here or even if it's here, you can take. And from black's perspective, if any of their pawns, for example, if this is happening, if any of their pawns is on the 4th rank and the opponent's pawn, it's their opponent's pawn's very first move and they go 2 squares right next to your pawn, you can take like that. Even though it's not diagonally right on it, you could still take it. So that's basically it for en passant. It was just a very quick explanation of it. So yeah, let's move on to the next rule. So the next rule is going to be about castling. Castling works like this. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, in our normal game, bishop c4, bishop e7, knight, okay, and then castles. So if this were in a real game, so this is the rules of castling. It must be the king's very first move. It must be the rook's very first move. There cannot be any pieces like in between them. And I'll tell you later when you can't castle in one particular situation. So if the king has moved here and went back, you can't castle. But if it's the king's very first move, you can castle. Let me just show you how this will look like. So, for example, it's white's move once I load this in. And, oh, I can't castle. 1 second, guys. So, let me just do that game again. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Bishop c4, bishop e7, and now you can castle. See, there's a thing. And once you castle, the rook will automatically go here, and the king will go here. And that's short castling. There's also a different castling. It's like this. So, d4, d4, d5, knight f4, bishop f4. You know, it's a normal game. Like you're playing against someone here. And now your king is all freed up, right? And now on the queen side, again, your king moves 2 squares like here, like so. Let me just do like, for example, bishop d7. Now your king will move 2 squares, but the rook will move 1, 2, 3 squares, as in short castling, moving 1, 2 squares. So if I do this, the rook will automatically go here and there. And that's castling in a nutshell. And again, it must be the rook's very first move, it must be the king's very first move, and there cannot be anything intercepting them, like between them. Okay, now, in certain situations, you can't castle. And let me show you some of those situations. e4, e5, f4. I'm just doing this as an example. This is not how you play the King's Gambit. Or maybe it is, I don't know. So here, knight f3, here, here, and now, here as you can see, you can't castle. There's no castling option, because if you castle into that, that's going to be a check for you. Check, and you can't take a king in chess. So taking a king would be illegal in like chess. And you just can't do it. You can't castle right here, or else the opponent would win. And you can't even do that anyways. So you can't castle here, but you can move your rook here. But that's not going to make any difference, because the rook's now going to waste a move. And if you go back, now you can't even castle. If the bishop wasn't here, like if the rook, again, I did this example with the king. If the king, for example, went like here and here, and he tried to castle, he can't, because it's not his first move. So same thing goes for the long side castling. If, like, it's not just on the particular square. For example, if I were to just get rid of this bishop, a6 here, here. I'm just gonna play random moves here, here. Let's see, what do I do? Here, here. This is still getting intercepted. Now you can't even move your king here. Like, I could just get rid of this bishop. Like, I would just go here, and I could just get rid of the bishop on this square. You can't even castle, because this is getting intercepted. If you try to castle, which you do like this, boom, boom, it's not going to work, because it's getting intercepted by a check, which would allow your king to get taken, and that's not allowed. So in those situations, you can't castle. In other situations, just feel free to castle, because castling just protects your king. Like, there's a rook right next to your king, there's 3 pawns or 2 pawns. There's pawns protecting your king. Like, your king's much safer when you castle, just remember that. Okay, now we'll go on to stalemate. Now stalemate, I don't know if I explained it in my other videos. Stalemates, let me just show it to you. So I'm going to just delete all these, right? Now for the black pieces, I'm only just gonna leave the king. That's all I'm gonna leave. That's all I'm gonna leave. So, and for the white pieces, I'm only gonna leave the king and the queen. Now, 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna put this back here. I'm gonna load it. So it's white's move, right? Here, check, here, check, and now the king's going into a corner to hide, right? And if he just goes here, it's a draw. You could see the computer saying half point for this guy, half point for this guy, because it's a draw. You can't do anything. It's black's move, and like if it's your move and none of your pieces like can move, like physically none of your pieces can move, it's a draw, because look, the king can't go anywhere, and it's his turn, so he has to go, but he can't move here because his king would be captured, and that's not allowed. So the game ends in a draw, and no one wins. And each player gets half a point in a tournament, but in like here, both players would like Now, I don't know how to really explain it. Both players would just get like a few amount of points. So stalemates can happen in a lot of ways. I guess like in a there's like short stalemates and like long stalemates. Like you can even go search up a video on YouTube. There's the shortest stalemate, and it's pretty crazy how people come up with these. So stalemates can happen in a lot of ways. Like I can even set up this position for you, and I can have all these pawns over here just dancing and dancing all the way across this board, but in reality all these pawns are actually just blocked. See, none of the pieces can move, and somehow, and you know the knight, right? The knight can just jump over pieces. But if somehow the knight is just right here, somehow, I'm not saying like the knight can go there, well, I don't think it can. So actually no, this is just a lot of pawns. 1 second. Just get rid of all these, and let me just leave a little space here. Now none of the pawns can move. Everything of the black pieces is gone except for a bishop. And the bishop is, okay, where should I put it? I'm gonna put it in this place that it can't move. 1 second. I can, like, if the bishop can't move, like for example, if your pieces are just all crammed up like this, like, let me just take the bishop out. It'll make the thing much easier to understand. Here. Oh, I'll just fix that later. So, oh, okay, now you have a queen, right? And that queen, it doesn't matter any piece, like you can stalemate with any piece. You have this many pawns, and you're still going to go up to this, you're still going to go up to this corner, and your queen is over here. And if you load this position and you go here, it's a draw. Like, you can't move any of these pieces. You can't, they're blocking its way. And the king can't even move because it's like the example I showed you earlier. So that's how crazy stalemates can be. It can even be with a rook. Like the king can be over here and the rook can be over here, and it will still be a stalemate because the king can't move. The king can't move anywhere. So yeah, the stalemates are crazy. So now I'm going to show you insufficient material. Now, insufficient material is when you don't have enough material to checkmate the king. So you would just be stuck. You can't checkmate the king. You can only either stalemate it or like you can't do anything at all. Now, there are different types of insufficient material. Here are the pieces that you cannot checkmate with. You can't checkmate with a knight, a bishop. You can't checkmate with 2 knights. You can checkmate with 2 bishops, and you can checkmate with 1 bishop and 1 knight. But you can't checkmate with a knight, a bishop. You can't checkmate with a knight, like 1 knight, 1 bishop, or like 2 knights together. Not all together, but you know what I mean. Let me just show you. So everything is gone, correct? And I'm just gonna generate this I'm just gonna put together this random position. This king's over here, this king's all the way over here, and this bishop's like over here. And the bishop is moving, right? It's moving, it's forcing it to its own corner because, yeah, and it's going like it's going to its own corner. It's pushing it, but then it comes to its own corner, and you go over here, and it's not checkmate. You just go here, and it's not checkmate. It's forced over here, and it's not checkmate again. And he goes over here, over here. It's not checkmate. So no matter what you do, it's not going to be checkmate. And the same goes for the knight. It's not checkmate. Go here, 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 and you can't do anything, right? You just can't. Can't do anything. Goes over here, here. Like, you can't do anything. And it's a draw. And I'll do this with two knights as well. So the king is all the way over here. Let's go. They're going together. Oh, they're coming together. They're over here. The king's all the way in this corner, backed up. Here, 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 here. Bringing the king in, and it's now stalemate because he can't move here. This guard's here, and this guard's here. Now it's a stalemate. You can't do anything. So that's how stalemates work. So, like, you can't do anything about it. But you can, with the help of your king, the rook and the queen can checkmate. Just don't worry about those two. But if you're ever in an endgame with these two pieces together, then it's gonna be quite tricky. So you're gonna have to know your endgames. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. So let me know what you learned down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.